What is going on, Bulls Nation? So welcome back again for another video. So the Bulls have started contract negotiations with Vucevic, and that is expected, but is it a good idea? I'll let you know why it's not a good idea to keep Vuce right after this.
Get the lowdown on one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
All right, Bulls Nation. So most people on the podcast or YouTube land made some compelling arguments why the Bulls should keep Vucevic. And I understand, we're not going to get the cap space now. It doesn't make sense. He's a good center, which he is. Those are all valid points. But I think what they're forgetting to see is we're looking beyond next season, or this season for that matter. Can we all agree that we're not going to win the championship next season? If we all agree to that, then why are we keep on repeating the cycle of getting these guys over and over? Meaning, here's the cycle. We sign Vuce for, let's say, 2 for $50 million, right? It's $25 million. Guess what's going to happen next year? So the narrative now is we don't have the money because it's tied up with these guys. Now, finally, one of those guys is going to come off the books. Yes, we're not going to be able to use that money next year or this year, right? But if you let that sit, we can use that money next year when DeMar DeRozan also expires. You know what we're going to talk about next year again? Is we don't have money. Why? Because we re-signed Vuce. So even if we let DeMar walk, kind of like the same situation now, we're not going to have the cap space anyway. So what are we going to do next year? Re-sign DeMar? Are we going to repeat this cycle for how many times? Are we going to be in the cycle till, I don't know, Zach LaVine expires? Is that the plan? So that means we have 3 more years of mediocrity? Is that the plan for the Chicago Bulls? Now, I'm all for re-signing Vuce, right? But for the right price. And he's a trade asset. If we re-sign Vuce, I'm looking at him as a trade asset, not as a piece moving forward because he's a good enough center. Because that is all the argument that I'm hearing. He's a double-double machine. Yeah, he is. Guess where it got us? It got us absolutely nowhere. And if we re-sign him, guess what? We still can't improve. Why? Because we re-signed him. We know the Bulls are not going to go to the luxury tax. So even if we do have the mid-level exception, we can use what? Let's say we re-sign Vuce and Kobe. I think the projection is we're going to before going to the luxury tax, we can use like $2-3 million at most. Who can you really sign at $2-3 million at most? That's a veteran's minimum. Without going to the tax, of course. If you don't re-sign Vuce, right, you can use that full $12 million mid-level exception. But you're going to say, but now we don't have a center. Then get a center that's cheap, not somebody that's worth $25 million or $20 million. Now, I'm all about keeping Vuce for the right price. If you get him for like a Mitchell Robinson type of price, then go ahead, 17, 18 million at most, perhaps. But anything beyond that, because the problem is you sign him beyond that, now you're looking at him not as a trade asset, but as an asset to help you win. We've already had a sample size of Vuce for 2 years. He's not a winning type of player. He hasn't done it in Orlando. He hasn't done it here. He's a good player who puts up good numbers. I don't know, we've kind of had that player before. His name is Carlos Boozer, whose defensive rating was high because he's next to Joakim. His And Vuce, you see his rebound. When he rebounds, it falls in his hands. Not because he fights for rebounds. When we were playing against New York, Mitchell Robinson was dogging him. This is not a winning basketball player, ladies and gentlemen. If you re-sign him now and don't trade him, I'm all about re-signing and trading him, or re-signing him for cheap so you can trade him down the line, so you can get better assets. But if the idea is re-signing him because he's good and he can help his team, well, we've had 2 years of data for that. That doesn't work. Nowadays, if you got 2 wings, 2 capable wings, you can't have another, and those wings cannot defend. It's imperative that you can't have a third one who can't defend. You can't have a rim protector while Vuce is on the team. That's just how it is. You get Vuce on the team, you keep Vuce on the team, you're not going to have a rim protector. So now you're depending on the point guard that we still don't have, and Alex Caruso Because at power forward, you're going to be like, all right, let's get a power forward that can help Vooch. And who is that power forward exactly? I don't see Kevin Garnett walking in the door who can help mitigate Vooch's lack of defense or his lack of pick and roll defense. And then you want to pay him $25 million a year. If we sign him for 2 years, 25, you can't trade that. You can't trade that contract unless he becomes like Nikola Jokic all of a sudden. If he becomes Nikola Jokic all of a sudden, then why would we even trade him, right? But he's on the wrong end of 30s. Man, this is a tough one. And the Bulls put themselves in this position. But I disagree with this notion that, hey, you can't find a center who double. His double means nothing. We didn't make the playoffs. It's not entirely on him, but it's obvious that those double is not as impactful as people makes it out to be. Otherwise, we would have been in the playoffs. So you got to do something here. You got to resign him. And I get it. You want to get assets for him. You gave up assets. You want the worst way is you let him walk. But if the price becomes too high, then you let him walk. Because if you don't, you're going to pay for that cycle over and over again. We're going to be in the same situation we're in now next year when DeMar becomes a free agent. And we're going to be like, well, you know what? We don't have the cap space. Why? Because we re-signed Vooch. Only if Vooch was a free agent the year before, then maybe we could have gone after a good free agent or a slew of free agents to complement this team. At some point, the Bulls fans have to realize it was a good intention, right? We signed 3 fringe all-stars, and the hope is that 3 fringe all-stars will be like a Power Ranger of some sort and become one solid team. That didn't happen. So if the price becomes too high for Vooch, you let him walk. And that price, I'm guessing, is around $18 million. Anything beyond that, you're looking at Steven Adams making 12, Brook Lopez making 11, Mitchell Robinson making 17, and now you're going to get a guy who's in his 30s who can't defend, can't catch a lob, he's not athletic. Yes, he can shoot threes, but again, that's not the type of threes that the Bulls want. I like Vooch. I like his game. Just not for the Bulls. I don't think he fits this team. You get Vooch. The reason he was so effective is because we got 2 hound dogs back then. We're not going to find another Lonzo Ball out there. A 6'6" guard who can defend like him. It's just not going to happen. So now you got to tailor the team around Zach. And we've seen a sample size again when DeMar was out. With the Zach and Vooch connection, not that good. Not that good either. You need a defensive, athletic center that can catch lobs and can clean up the boards. Offensive rebounds when it matters. Not those defensive rebounds that Vooch catches, because you have no power forward or any other guy to rebound. That's why his rebound is so high. So the price is right. Go ahead, but use re-sign Vooch with every intention to trade him. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know in the comment how you feel about this. Subscribe to the channel if you're a Bulls fan, and I'll see you guys in the next video.